Okay, in this lesson we're just going to be continuing our work with dilating points or shapes on the coordinate plane, just like we've been doing the past few days. So if you remember, we're always given a scale factor, and that number just tells us how many times bigger or smaller that we are going to be making the object. And all we do with that is we just multiply it by the original numbers. So if you look at example 1, it says point A, which is located at 7, 9, is dilated from the origin by a scale factor of r equals 6. What are the coordinates of A prime? So we know that A was located at 7, 9. Our scale factor is 6. So all we need to do is take that scale factor and multiply it by each of these coordinates. I'll multiply it by the 7 and by the 9. So A prime will be located at, I know 7 times 6 is 42, and I know 9 times 6 is 54. So the coordinates of A prime are 42, 54. Moving on to number 2, we have point B, which is located at negative 8, 5, is dilated from the origin by a scale factor of r equals 1/2. What are the coordinates of B prime? So I'm going to take my coordinates of B, which were negative 8, 5, and all I'm going to do is multiply each of those by my scale factor, which was 1/2. So first of all, let's take negative 8. Well, we have negative 8 over 1 times 1/2. And I'll just go straight across. We get negative 8 over 2, and you can simplify that to be negative 4. So that will be the first coordinate. And then I'll do the same thing with 5. I have 5 over 1 times 1/2. Go straight across. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. And I don't like the improper fraction, so I need to divide that to see what I get. 2 goes into 5 twice, and I have a remainder of 1. So it went in 2 whole times. I had a remainder of 1, and I'll keep my denominator of 2. So your coordinates for B prime would be negative 4, 2.5. Okay, moving on to number 3, point C is at 6, negative 2. It's dilated from the origin by a scale factor of 3/4. What are the coordinates of C prime? So I want you to pause the video for just a second, and I want you to try this one on your own and see what you get, and then you can play it and follow the answer as I go through it. Okay, so we're going to take each of these points and multiply them by 3/4. So there's where we started with point C. Scale factor is 3/4. So first thing, I'm going to take 6, which is 6 over 1, and multiply it by 3/4. And then I'm going to do the same thing with negative 2. I'll take negative 2 times 3/4. Now on this example, I'm going to do the canceling that we've been working on. So I know 6 and 4, you can divide those both by 2. So the 4 will become a 2, and the 6 will become a 3. And then I can go straight across. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay. Don't like the improper fraction, so I'll divide that. 2 will go into 9 4 times, and I have a remainder of 1. So this would be 4 and 1/2. So that'll be the first coordinate. The second one looks like I can cancel the 2 and the 4. That negative 2 will become a negative 1, and the 4 will become a 2, and then just go straight across. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 1 times 2 is 2. And again, don't like the improper fraction, so I'm going to divide this. Keep in mind that your answer will still stay negative. 2 goes into 3 once, and I have 1 left over, so this would be negative 1 and 1/2. So my ordered pair for C prime is going to be 4.5, negative 1.5. Okay, so remember, all we're doing on each of these is taking our scale factor and multiplying it by each coordinate individually to get the new coordinates. Okay, moving on to number 4, we have point D, which is at 0, 11, dilated by a scale factor of 4. So again, I want you to pause the video and attempt this one on your own, and then you can check back and make sure you got it correct. Okay, so if I take the point 0, 11 and my scale factor is 4, I'm just going to multiply each of these numbers by 4. So it's nice and easy, no fractions. So 0 times 4 is 0. 11 times 4 is 44. And there are the new dimension, or the new coordinates. Okay, number 5. We have point E, which is at negative 2, negative 5. Dilated from the origin with a scale factor of 3 over 2. What are the coordinates of E prime? So, same thing we've been doing the entire time. We're just going to take our scale factor, multiply it by each one of these individually. So, first of all, the negative 2. Well, that's negative 2 over 1. Multiply it by 3 over 2. Well, I automatically see that I can cancel the 2's, make them 1's. So negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 1 times 1 is 1, and that's simple. It's just going to be negative 3. And we'll do the same thing for negative 5. So that's negative 5 over 1 times 3 over 2. Here, there's nothing I can cancel. There's no number that will go into both 2 and 5 evenly. So I'll just go straight across. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. 1 times 2 is 2. It's an improper fraction, so I'm going to divide this and see what I get. 2 goes into 15 7 times, and I have 1 left over. And keep in mind it was negative, so it's going to stay negative. Negative 7 and 1/2. So my ordered pair for E prime is going to be negative 3, negative 7 and 1/2. Okay, now for the last 3, we're actually going to look at some shapes that have been plotted on the coordinate plane. So let's look at number 6. Okay, so number 6 says the coordinates of triangle ABC are shown on the coordinate plane below. The triangle is dilated from the origin by a scale factor of 12. Identify the coordinates of the dilated triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So, because the scale factor is 12, it's getting 12 times bigger. There's not enough room on the coordinate plane to draw the new shape, so we're just going to name what the points would be. So remember, before we can figure that out, we need to know the ordered pairs of each of these 3 points. So, let's look at A first of all. Starting at the origin, remember we always go side to side first and then up or down. So, to get to A, I need to go left 2, so that would be negative 2. And then I would need to go up 2, so that's a positive 2. For B, start back at the origin, I would go left 3, so that's negative 3. And then down 3, that would also be negative 3. And for C, I need to go right 6, so positive 6, and up 1, so positive 1. Now, since my scale factor is 12, all I'm going to do is just multiply every single one of these numbers by 12, and I'll have my new coordinates. So for A prime, negative 2 times 12 is negative 24. 2 times 12 is a positive 24. B prime, well, negative 3 times 12 would be negative 36, and it's that same thing for the second one. And C prime, 12 times 6 ends up being 72, and 1 times 12 is 12. So here are the new coordinates for A prime, B prime, and C prime. Okay, 7, we have figure DEFG. It's dilated with a scale factor of 2/3. It says identify the coordinates, then draw and label the new figure. Okay, so first of all, again, we need to figure out what the coordinates are. So for D, we go left 6, so that's -6, and up 3. For E, we go left 4, down 3. For F, we go right 5 and down 2. And for G, we go left 3 and up 3. So we just need to take 2/3, which is our scale factor, times all of these numbers here. So -6. -6/1 times 2/3. Well, I can cancel the 3 and the 6. And -2 times 2 is -4. And then 1 times 1 is 1. So for D prime, we're going to be at -4. And I'll figure out my second number here. We have 3 times 2/3. Well, automatically I see that the 3's cancel, and I'm left with 2/1, which is just 2. Okay, on to E prime. We have -4 as our first number, so I'm going to take -4/1 times 2/3. I can't cancel anything, so I'll just go straight across, and I get -8/3. Now, when you work that out and divide it, 3 goes into 8 a total of 2 times, and you would actually have 2 left over, so that would be -2 and 2/3. And then my second number was a -3. Well, I already figured out what 3 was up here. That equaled 2, but this time it's just going to be a -2, so really no work, no additional work that I need to do there. For F prime, we have 5, -2, so put this down over here. I have 5/1 times 2/3, go straight across, 10/3, and that ends up being 3 1/3 when you divide that out. The second coordinate for F was -2, so I'm going to have -2/1 times 2/3. Again, I can't cancel, so I'll just go straight across. -4/3, which is -1 1/3. And then lastly, G, I've already figured out what -3 and 3 were. Just make sure you have them right. -3, that ended up being a -2. +3 was a +2. So here are my coordinates right here. That's part of my answer. Last thing I need to do is just plot those. So D prime, I'm going to go left 4, up 2. Label that D prime. E prime, I'm going to come -2 almost to -3, and then down 2, about right there. F prime, I'm going to go right 3 and a little further, down 1 1/3, so about right there. And then G is at -2, 2. And then you can connect those and you will see your new shape there. It should be totally inside the original one. Okay, I want you to try number 8 by yourself. You have triangle ABC. They give you the ordered pairs right up here for you. And the scale factor is 1/3. So they want you to identify the coordinates and draw the new triangle. So I want you to pause the video and attempt this on your own, and then you can check back and see if you were right. But remember, you're taking your scale factor 1/3 and multiplying it by every single coordinate up here individually, and that will tell you where the new points are. Okay, and here are your answers. A prime was at 1 2/3, B prime at 4 1, C prime at 3 4, and you can see the triangle I have in blue and labeled accordingly.